What is going on? Party
Hey
people.
guys.
My name is
Hey.
Kyle Springer,
And I'm Paul Kang.
and you are listening to another exciting adventure of The Captain's Log.
You're goddamn right you are.
That sounded more like Batman than ever before, Paul.
And maybe I'm going through a Batman phase.
Maybe.
Picasso had his blue period and pink. I got my Batman
Paul
period.
has his Batman face. Where is he?
I know how he got these scars. Well, I don't know.
Speaking of Batman, we actually will hear a little bit more about some Batman stuff later on in the show.
Batman the Cape Crusader?
No, I was going to talk about some video games. A Batman video game by Telltale. So that should be pretty cool. I have a couple video games to talk about, as well as a question to bring
Yes.
to the table.
Yes. Is Purring Sexy Part 2?
Yeah. But no, so that's kind of what I have. I haven't heard what Paul has yet. I forgot to ask him that before I switched us to live.
You know what I'm going to talk about?
What are you going to talk about, Paul?
I'm going to talk about my art and my art gallery.
Your
And how it's the
art
beginning of
and
my
your
fucking career, bitches. You heard it here first.
Sweet. Well, then
Let's do this.
my question will kind of dive into that as well. Then, let me just make sure. I'm gonna tweet out our thing again, so that people know that we are back to being live. Open new link. While I am doing that, how are you, Paul?
I'm
What
doing
are you
well.
up to? Doing good.
I'm eating M&Ms right now with some water, so I don't feel guilty.
Okay. Good part of this balanced breakfast.
Balanced 11:05 p.m. late night snack. M&Ms and water. Yeah. Today was really good. My parents were like, "Hey, there's this Korean family that wants us to help them register at a school." I'm like, "Okay, what does that have to do with me at all?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, we're just gonna go and set up for them because they're in Korea." And I was like, "Okay." I still don't know how
Okay,
I'm
so
involved.
do I get paid?
Yeah, yeah. And they're just like, "You want to come with us?" And I was like, they told me like this at like 12 a.m. yesterday or today, and I was like, "Sure." You know, I'm like, I love my parents. I haven't seen them in a while, but still, I was like, whatever.
It's 2 episodes in a row you have burped on mic, Paul. This is bad form, bad technique.
Okay, Captain Hook.
What?
So anyway,
It's nothing to do with Captain Hook at all.
they say in the movie Hook by Steven Spielberg. They say bad form. It's like a tagline. Fuck you.
Okay, well,
Anyway.
that's not exclusive to Captain Hook, Smee.
I'm gonna pretend like this didn't happen. I'm gonna continue moving forward. Anyway,
Let's move on.
where the fuck was I? Yeah. My parents. Yeah. So they're like, "You want to come?" And I was like, "Sure." I basically didn't sleep the whole night. Not my fault. My parents didn't either. It sounds like they were having sex. They weren't.
Wonderful
they
start
just,
to
like-
this episode.
Yeah. They just stayed up, and like I stayed up because like the Kangs are just never sleep. We're just nocturnal. So I was sick also the day before. This way, so we're doing it today, and you know I'm like, I finally go to sleep. It's like 10 a.m. And I'm like deep in sleep, having this crazy dream. And my dad's like, "Hey, Paul, get up." And I'm like, "Why are you? Why?" You know? And he's like, "You want to go to the thing?" And I'm like, "No, I feel terrible." He's like, "All right, cool." So they leave, and I'm like, and they're gonna be gone for a while, and I know they're gonna be gone for a while. And I'm like, I'm home alone. I got nothing to do. I want to see Sarah. I want to know Sarah biblically. You know, like, you know, I had feelings. So I was like, so I called her. I was like, "Sarah, pick up." She didn't pick up, so I left her a message. And then she like rushed over here, and you know, yeah, that was my day so far.
Okay. So, as Sarah said, for those of you guys who have not joined us at the first part of our double live stream, we are recording this directly after we recorded our latest crunchy peanut butter episode on 6 feet under. And yeah, your
right.
girlfriend mentioned that. She was like, we didn't do shit today.
Yeah. That's just her pleasant way of saying we had a good time.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. I have more stuff to talk about. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's happening with me.
Oh, yeah. I had work as I normally do, but they're kind of transitioning me, not really to a new position, but like a new. It's more like a restructuring of the company or like the department we're in. So I'm now a part of our communications team. Basically still doing the exact same thing as I have been, except now, did you just hear that? My throat?
That was you?
Yeah, it was like...
I thought that was a cat mating 3 doors down.
That was my throat.
Wow.
Welcome my throat to this podcast, everyone. It obviously has a lot to say. But
Damn.
So they're transitioning me to kind of this new position, kind of. It's basically the same thing as I'm doing now, except I'm like the communication team's like web expert.
Web expert?
Yeah, basically I'm a web developer associate. Which makes it sound like I do a lot of really important work, but actually I
Exactly.
don't. But yeah, it's just like if they have questions like, hey, why did this happen? Why is it behaving that way? They come to me and I have to figure it out so that they don't have to. But that kind of teaching aspect of them coming to me and being like, okay, here's what went wrong, here's what you need to do, that's kind of new. So we'll see.
And you don't like that?
I do like that.
You do?
Yeah. I think teaching stuff that I really like is a lot of fun. That's why, I wouldn't call our podcast teaching, but just talking about it, right?
No.
I fucking love that. Just being like, let's talk about comics, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're the guy who's helping.
Go ahead.
Wait, but so you're saying that you're now the guy who's helping other people, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying that, some people were sitting you down and saying this is how shit works.
No. I'm the one that tells them, like, this is how shit works.
You're the guy. You're the man now, Kyle.
Yeah, I like, the funny thing with that, though, like, even though they come to me for, like, hey, what went wrong here? What happened here? I'm still, like, bottom of the totem pole of, like,
America.
Everything. Yeah, so it's not fun. But, so yeah, that's kind of what's happening with me. But in my spare time, I've been playing a lot of video games, especially to get through watching 5 seasons of that god-awful show 6 Feet Under.
Tell me how you really feel.
Worst show in the world, Paul. How
Why
dare
didn't you say that on the
maybe?
episode? Why are you like spraying this shit on me?
I'm kidding. No,
I told you guys. I tried to tell you guys. He hated the show.
Truth comes out. No, I've been playing a lot of video games though, partly to catch up, because I was on vacation and didn't really get to play any of them, and a lot of them started stacking up.
Do you know what you remind me of? Just really fast.
You remind me of a girl that I once knew.
God, no. Don't ever open your mouth for that ever again. I'm just kidding.
Everybody.
Take crazy pills. No. The way you were talking about your life was like
The most
felt like I was
boring
listening to
shit
Peter
ever.
Parker. I feel like I was talking to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Where it's like, oh, what's your day job? Well, I deliver pizza. I deliver pizzas part-time, and then I take photos of Spider-Man. All right, what do you do? Well, I go home, and I play video games. I save the world. Honestly, it sounds like you're describing,
Have you ever seen the movie Office Space?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
fucking love that film. It's one of my absolute favorites. But that's
Yeah.
always what I think of. Like, well, come in late, sneak in the side door so no one really notices. Then, take a nap, space out for an hour, two.
It's so funny. So relatable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, anyway, sorry. I just wanted to bring that out. Like, you're a comic book character. Like, you have an alter ego that the world sees.
Aw, well,
And then
thank
you're
you,
like,
Paul. I appreciate that.
It wasn't a
Um,
compliment.
Paul's sitting there like, fuck you, you were a bum. And I'm sitting here like, oh, that's great. I love it. Just what I always wanted to be.
Exactly.
But no, so yeah, I've been playing a lot of video games. One of which was Metal Gear Solid 5. That was out for free for PS Plus members a while back, and I picked
Merry
it up.
Christmas.
And yeah, I've been playing that. That is a good ass game. Fucking A, that is a good ass game. It plays so
Jesus.
well. And I kind of have a weird experience with it because I was playing it for a long, long time, and I was getting through a lot of the story stuff, like the story missions and things like that. And I looked up a review for the game, and I think IGN gave it a 10. However, one of their like major things was it's really light on story. And I'm sitting there like, am I playing the same game? There's so much in this here, like so much story wise too. You kind of have to piece some of it together. You kind of have to piece some of it together on your own. But I mean, Metal Gear Solid is not like a children's game. Like it assumes that its audience is like a little more mature and can actually like decipher some of this stuff and what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Which is neat. I like that. Where it's not just spoon feeding me all of that. But I want to say I was on mission like 26.
Jesus.
And I had already put in like 45 hours in the game. I was like, I must be getting close to getting done. I wonder how many missions there are. And so I looked it up, and to my surprise, it was like there are 50 of them. And I was like,
shit.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. There's 50 of these things, and I'm only on like 26, and I've spent 45 hours of my life
How lucky am
in
I?
this thing. On one hand, I was like, damn, this is a long game. What the fuck was IGN thinking when they said there's no story? Like there's so
It's
much
nothing
in here.
but story.
And then yeah, so like I was playing it like a week ago, and I think it was like mission 31, and I beat one of the bosses, and then the credits roll. And I was like,
Holy
wait a minute. I thought this thing said there was like 50 missions. What happens? Because I'm totally on like 31.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
fuck? And after a little bit more research, it is kind of, there's like this, like after you beat the game, missions 32 through like 49 or something like that are like extra. Like
Okay.
you might get like an extended version of a cutscene or something like that, but that's kind of it. Like you've actually beaten the game after mission
Gotcha.
31. So I was like, oh, well, at least I don't have to spend another like 50 hours in this game, because I kind of wanted to move on to something else at that point.
It's not like you're trying to unlock Darth Vader, I don't know, after you purchase the game. You know?
But like it was kind of one of those things. It was like there's like on one hand I was like there must be so much, but then hearing there was 50, I was like, I kind of just want to stop playing this game because there's so much. Like I don't want to do this.
It almost sounds like a burger challenge. You know, it's like this burger's too big.
It's like
I can't finish all this.
I fucking love cheeseburgers, but I've had too many cheeseburgers. What am I gonna do?
Pizza.
Yeah, let's move on to pizza. So that's kind of what I did. I ended up starting a game called Prey, which came out in 2017. I think in like March-ish. I could be wrong on that. I could be absolutely wrong. I'm just spitting out some name and completely talking out of my ass here. But it is by Bethesda, and it's a damn good game too.
Why do you say that?
Well, it's crazy because 2017 there were so many good games that came out this year that a game like Prey often gets knocked off people's top 10 lists. Like, did not get talked about, was not anyone's game of the year and stuff like that, and it stinks. But it's like, it's a good reason though, because just there was so much good stuff out there that was good. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like BioShock, though I hear a lot of people say it's more like System Shock 2, which I have not played, so I'm not really familiar with. But to me,
Dude,
it's
I literally, you might as well been speaking a different.
I've lost you like at the start of I'm playing video games.
No. Like, I had so little context for what you were saying. Not that you were describing it badly. It's just I just don't know.
Right.
And I was like, he might as well be speaking French, because I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking
It's all Greek to me.
It's so funny. I'm sorry. I wasn't making fun of you. It's just I was like,
You're good.
I'm so happy for Kyle. I have no idea what he's talking about.
But
I'm happy for you though.
it's a really, really good game. Highly recommend it for people out there checking out this episode. It's kind of like survival horror, first-person shooter. You get the option to like get different powers and upgrades, and basically the way you play the game, it's really cool. It's really subtle. The way you play and the decisions you make affect the outcome of the game. There's a lot of games that do that, and I'll mention the Telltale Batman game that I just played, which very much does that. But this game, Prey, does it in a way where it's very subtle, and they don't tell you until like after you've beaten the game, and you're like, oh, that's what it did. Oh shit.
Yeah. That's
So
cool.
it's kind of really cool to see that. But it's cool. It's fun. I highly recommend it. Go pick it up if you have a PS4 or an Xbox or something like that. I think it's only like $30 now.
Yeah.
So
It's so
definitely
weird
worth it.
It's so weird that we can package that experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
just weird.
It's kind of like watching a TV show or reading a comic book, right? It's
Yeah.
another story to get lost in.
Yeah. But it's so weird that we can package that. It's like, yeah, in the CD is several hours of horror for you.
Yeah.
You will be scared if you take the CD.
You will
It's like
be,
magic.
your palms will be sweating as you grip the controller to survive
Exactly.
this space
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
Where you know,
That's fucking weird. We packaged experiences. It's so fucking weird.
because it's the adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Like we like the adrenaline, the feeling of joy, of having fun, of the intensity of just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
We're addicted.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
don't
we
have
are.
that though. I really don't. It's so weird that I don't.
I mean,
I can afford.
but
Not this way you do.
Not
honestly.
yeah, of course, not the way that I do. But like when you're watching a good show, you'll be like, holy fuck, this is a good show.
Oh my god.
I want to keep watching, and that's exactly what it is. You have come under the effect, under the drug that this show is producing inside you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, can I bring up a show?
Yes, you can.
Star Trek Discovery. New episodes every week. Oh my god.
This is the
So,
third
like-
episode in a row.
I don't give a shit. I'm watching it. You told me to talk about current shit. I'm talking about it.
Do it.
Do you mind if I do spoilers? Are you ever gonna watch this?
I probably will eventually. Not anytime soon, though, but we should give a spoiler warning for anyone
Okay.
out there listening now. Um, Maybe minute or two. I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. How long you think, Paul?
Uh, well, this is spoilers for Star Trek Discovery, season 1 and 2. Okay, or season 1. All right. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. All right.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Okay. So, in Star Trek, I'm not really giving anything away. It's just kind of like, it's just something that happens as part of the story. But yeah, they like go to like an alternate dimension, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like the rules are different. Like not physics, but like, in the Star Trek universe where they currently are, it's like, the Human Federation, and like the Galactic
Sure.
Federation, and everyone's like, all the aliens and humans all get along. Maybe not Klingons, some people, but
Mm-hmm.
almost everyone is at peace. And now it's just a time for exploration and fun.
Discovery.
Yeah, yeah. But they like go into another parallel dimension or universe where it's like the same universe and even the same people there, but it's like it's different. Like the humans are the bad guys.
I mean,
They're
that's
called Terrans.
typically what happens in alternate universes.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just really cool cuz you're like um it's really cool because they have to they're driving a ship that also exists in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
With like different captains and stuff, and so it's really cool because they have to go to, um, I forget what they're called, but they have these machines that like make everything for them. Like you just tell it what it is and it'll make it for you. Like that's how they get food, you know.
Yeah.
So like they study like the culture that they're in, their new culture, and they like make uniforms using that machine, to like
Huh.
seamlessly blend in. It's like really cool. And so it was a show about like discovery and like all this stuff, and now it's become like survival,
That's
in
cool.
in a parallel dimension. It's really cool. Like it's just like I did not see that coming at all. Like what? Like it's just Sarah and I both love it. Like every week we're like
Brand
hooked.
new universe to spread diplomacy.
Yeah, yeah.
Intergalactic diplomacy.
Exactly. And I haven't watched all of this the show yet, the episode, the
Mhm.
latest one. But I read online that it said like there was a twist in this new episode that makes me want to quit watching the show, and I was like, what? So now I'm like terrified
Dun.
because I'm about to watch that new episode, and I'm like fucking freaking
Turns
out.
out it's all directed by Ryan Johnson.
I'd kill myself. Yeah. Oh God, I hated The Last Jedi.
Anyways,
But yeah.
okay,
But yeah,
cool.
that's what's been going on with me so far with Star Trek.
Still enjoying that show.
Watch
Um,
it, seriously. Just pop it in.
One last video game
Okay.
I want to mention and talk about. There's a video game studio called Telltale that make a lot of story-based narrative games, including The Walking Dead, and they've done one for they have one which is a prequel to a comic called Fables, and their game is called The Wolf Among Us. But it's these narrative games where you pick the dialogue, and depending on what you pick, it changes the story. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
love those
it's
books.
yeah, and it's not like I've never played any of Telltale's games until now, and the Batman one is the first one that I've played. It was free, it still is, on PS Plus this month for anyone who has that. But it's a Batman game, but it's not a Batman game where you can like run around and beat up bad guys and stuff like
As
that.
Batman.
Yeah, like you don't. I mean, you get to play as Batman, but it's not like what you would expect a Batman game to be. It's not the Arkham games. but it is this choose your own adventure. Something happens, they need a response. You are given four options of what to say.
That's really cool.
And you have to pick it. Yeah, and it's really good. They had the entire first season, which is something else that's kind of cool about this game. They do it in episodes. So it's like an hour and a half long episode, and they'll release one every like 3 or 4 months. And so the first season is the first 5 episodes. And it's really good. I think it kind of got off the rails by the end of season 1, but the first like 2.5 episodes are really, really good. I mean, it's not to say that like episode 3, 4, and 5 are bad. I still really enjoyed them. They definitely took it in a direction that I would not expect. There's a big twist that happens, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I did not expect that at all. Because here I am, comic book nerd. I've read a good amount of Batman. Not much, but enough to know Batman. Like I know what he's pretty much gonna say in certain situations. I know how he's gonna react. I know what the books will look like. I know what's gonna happen, kind of. And a certain character is revealed to be a bad guy because it's like this mystery bad guy. So this is a new character. Who is this? And they reveal who it is. I'm just like, whoa, no way! Like, holy shit! That's kind of cool. Was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Which
so it's got a lot of twists.
Like one major twist, but it gives you options of the dialogue. It gives you options like, oh, well, if you go to Jim Gordon now as Bruce Wayne, maybe you can help the GCPD from the top down, and the public will gain your trust. Or if you go as Batman, this will happen. The criminals of Gotham will start to feel like this, and that. So you pick how do you want to go about this and stuff like that.
I love how immersive that sounds.
Yeah.
Because you're driving the story. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I would play that. I'd play that video game.
Yeah.
I'm not a big video
lot of
game
fun.
guy. That
Highly
sounds great.
recommend it as well. I think they're in. I think they're wrapping up season 2 right now. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, it was a lot
I
of
like their
fun.
seasons.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. You want to hear about my art thing?
Yes, I do want to hear about your art thing.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if you've seen any of my latest art online.
Besides the Whatnot stuff, I have not.
No. It's not that. It's more personal stuff. I haven't been
on Facebook in forever, so.
Yeah. It might have been 6 Feet Under that started it for me, but like I've been obsessed with like death recently and like life, and like yin and yang and all that shit, light and dark. And I started. My brothers bought my parents these lamps from IKEA.
Okay.
And they came in these beautiful, smooth, like tall and long, like cardboard boxes. They have a nice color to them. And my parents know that I like to draw on cardboard, so they just stuffed it under my bed. And one day I pulled it out because I just felt like drawing, and I was like, they're really beautiful. Like they're just long. It's like 3 feet by 4 feet, and there are 2 of them. And I was like, I'm gonna draw on this.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 feet by 4 feet. I haven't really done a project that big in a while. But I just decided to draw, and like all this crazy shit came out, like just swirls and patterns and interconnecting tangles and like spirals and feelings of infinity, and it's extremely complex. Like I know it sounds weird, but I didn't know that I could do that. I was like, what the fuck am I drawing? And I did 2 of them, and they're side by side, and they're like extremely complex. Like I'm talking about like interconnecting like roots and spirals and swirls.
Right.
But but then but I filled the entire thing. The entire 6 feet by 4 feet is covered
Right.
with, and each swirl is like really small. Um, and I wasn't really thinking while doing this. I don't know why I'm drawing swirls and patterns and tangles, but for me, I think I'm convinced it has to do with like my obsession with like death, because there's all these like skulls everywhere, and I know how crazy this sounds, but when you see it, you'll be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you go on Facebook, you can see it. But I don't know. I feel like it's like another chapter for me. As an artist, you know.
Okay.
I know how dumb that sounds, but like, you know, you're a visual artist.
Sure.
You go through periods where you're like, oh shit, my art just took a big jump, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I just did that, and my brothers got me a camera around the same time that I started doing this, and took pictures of it, put it on Facebook, told my friends about it, and they were just like, dude, like I want to manage you. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, like I know people in like art galleries and stuff like that. And I was like, what? And so like, yeah, like my plan is to like make like a bunch of them, like maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
And they're large, 6 feet by 4 feet, like maybe 10 of them, and just fill a gallery with them.
That'd be sweet.
And I want to do like a solo show. It's about time, you know. I'll be 27 soon. But yeah, and then totally randomly, I was talking to my girlfriend in her kitchen, and her mom was talking to us about a friend, and you know, that friend happened to like be connected to this like art exhibition, and it was like a Korean art exhibition. I was like, oh shit.
Sweet.
And so like just totally out of the blue around the same time, and I was like, she was like, my girlfriend was like, you should contact him, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I sent him a picture. The first thing I did was I just sent him a picture of the finished art piece, and I was like, hi, I'm Paul Kang, I'm 26, blah blah blah. And he was just like, dude, we'd love to have you. like here's how you submit. And he sent me all these documents.
Awesome.
So I don't know. It's just like, it's just happening.
If you get accepted, when is the show?
The deadline is in February.
Okay.
And it might be in Korea. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Oh wow.
But you know, the guy, you know, he liked my work, and he was like, this is really cool. Sent me all the documents. You know, I still have a little bit of time before the deadline, but you know, I'm just, yeah, it's just crazy. It's just like this happened really fast. And I couldn't have done it if I had kept my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because these things are huge. Like they're taller than I am, and it's just like they took hours. Like I stayed up several nights with no sleep just finishing them. So I couldn't have done that if I had kept my job, and I didn't know I had this in me.
There you go.
So I'm like, shit.
That's
like,
always a good feeling when you're like, damn.
yeah,
I can actually do this.
yeah. And the art gallery, and you know, and I know there's tons of art galleries here in Portugal, and I just want to visit each and every one and be like, do you like my art? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, all right, I'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. That's my big thing.
Cool.
But yeah, just personally. Oh, we also saw Escher. Do you know MC Escher?
I do, yes.
There is an MC Escher gallery going on.
Nice.
And Sarah, my lovely girlfriend, bought us tickets. Dude, it's exquisite. Like, I don't think there's any original work. It's all like, you know, like prints, but like original prints that he did. So they're like beautiful. It takes you from like the very beginning, you know, of his work all the way to the end. And dude, I was like high as fuck, like shotgunned a joint.
That would have been an experience, yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I got so high, I was convinced I was Escher in a past life.
Yeah.
Like I got that high, and I was looking at his work, and I was like, "This is so beautiful and intricate." Like you have to see it up close.
How big were they? Were they big? Were they small?
Small.
Small?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of his work, because he liked to draw by hand.
Right.
So a lot of his work is like normal paper sized.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like a lot of his prints. But a lot of his larger paintings,
Uh-huh.
the ones with like the metamorphosis, the ones that kind of change.
Mm-hmm.
He did them all by hand. He had no
Yeah.
computers back then, so there's this beautiful image of a picture of him drawing one, and you're just like, he painted it all by hand, and I don't know, it just boggles, the mind.
It
That
really does, yeah.
oh dude, like you have to see it up close. You're just like, oh my god, like this man was a genius. Take a shot. like,
Take a drink.
I came home and I started drawing and I was like, this is bullshit. Like, kill yourself, like.
I'm sitting here drawing on cardboard, and the man paints these giant things that are trippy and.
Yeah.
Um,
But I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
The reason why I felt like a kindred spirit with MC Escher is not because I'm talented. I don't think I'm that talented.
I can do that.
But it was no one can do this. But like, it was because of the way he signed his signature, the way he handled space within the picture.
Uh-huh.
He very rarely used colors. He did, but he.
A lot of this stuff is black and white, or just like
Yeah.
pure black. Like, I'm only
Yeah.
going to use black ink or paint.
Like, tell me if this sounds familiar. He always used like black and white usually. Very graphic, bold, blocks of ink.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck to the edges. Was very anal about sticking to the edges. He signed his name inside every drawing. He like hid it, but he made it like block letters, which is kind of the way I do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know it sounds stupid. I don't believe in past lives. I don't think I was Escher, but I was like reading about his life and I was looking at his work and I was like, dude, like this looks so familiar. Not because I'd seen the work before, just the feeling of like, I know what this is like.
Yeah.
It was really odd. Maybe I was just really high, but I was like, I feel like I've seen this before. That felt very familiar. Yeah, and it was very inspiring, and I have Sarah to thank for that. She bought the tickets, and
Yeah.
she took me.
No, I think that experience happens quite a bit to a lot of people in all sorts of walks of life. You don't just
What do
have
you
to be
mean?
an artist, but just to be inspired by someone or to
Yeah.
relate, in a way that is inspirational, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually the question that I wanted to kind of bring to the table there of like,
Ooh.
who are your biggest influences? Like in life, in art, it doesn't really matter. Is there one or two people or artworks or styles or movies or whatever the hell it may be, or who it may be? Like, is there anything that is like, this is one of the big inspirations in my life?
I'm gonna call it a passive inspiration. By that I mean like I'm not like actively like looking at it, but the way that I think, it can be it can be tracked back down to these people. You know what I mean?
These people being,
Like niche is one of them.
okay.
I know that sounds weird, but niche is one of them.
How so?
He was this tormented person who was just trying to figure out how to live a good life, as most philosophers. But utterly tormented, his whole life. He was in physical pain constantly.
Yeah.
And so, he was just like, life is pain, And he tried to think his way out of it, basically, And I can relate to that. Life was very painful for me early on. So
Okay.
life is pain. And he would try to theorize, ways to better himself. And I feel like I do that a lot. Niche, the TV show True Detective, season 1.
There you go.
I know that sounds silly, like, oh,
Not at all.
Bernini or Raphael. No, but like, this show is like, it informs a lot of what I do. They kind of, it's like a singularity of everything that I believe in. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Everything put together all at once. If you really want to get to know who I am, just watch season 1 of True Detective and listen to Detective Russ Cole just talk about life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. That's probably it. Like, uh, I love classical music. You know,
Okay.
the ability that they had to make someone feel something, not just make them feel something, but really let them know the intention of what they're trying to say. Like in Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, there's like this feeling of panic, of great desire, and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and I'm like, oh, like I really want to figure out how to decode symbols and sounds and images to make you feel something, and it makes you feel something real, and I want to learn how to do that with my art. So I think classical music, in a way,
Okay.
you know,
Interesting.
not in the sense of I like that music the best. It's more like
True. Yeah. Sure.
this wasn't just music. This was capturing like pure emotion and packaging it. I'm interested in that.
It's
You know what I
inspired
mean?
something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, almost like divine.
That's
Um,
cool.
Yeah, so like those are like my influences, um, like utter nihilism mixed with anti government. So like I guess early Greek thought, and then the sensibility, but also obsessive compulsiveness of classical music.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's how I would describe my art process, I guess.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can see that.
yeah, because if you look at a lot of my personal art, it's very musical. Like it looks like music exploding. Um, so anyway, that's
That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, nihilist. That's my stuff. I don't know if that was the answer you're going for, but what about you?
It can go any direction. So I wasn't looking for like, oh come on, Paul, you were supposed to say Michael Jordan, you know. But no, like I mean, yeah, like it could have been that stuff. It could have been like, yo, my brother is an inspiration and blah blah blah, and he's helped me to do this
Yeah.
and that, But like,
Yeah, for me, it's not really a person. It's more like ideas.
yeah,
Like
and
this
I think
idea is an inspiration to
I
me.
think that happens a lot. People draw from ideas or artwork that they see, or movies that they watch, books that they read, stuff
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
And I think, I think for me, I'm a huge fan of like cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah.
That's always been like I just if it's there, I will eat it up.
Akira.
I
All that shit.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's really influenced or inspired like a way of thinking for me, but it's like I like that sensibility. I like the way it looks, and I try and put that into a lot of my own work. I mean, as well as like comic books, but I feel like that's an obvious one. But even on like a smaller scale, sometimes people who aren't even celebrities can
Yeah.
that are doing things that other celebrities might be doing, like other podcasters or stuff like that.
Yeah.
People who haven't made it big yet, but are still like, we're just sitting here doing it for the love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've said this before, I think on one of our Captain's Log episodes, or maybe it was our like 1 year retrospective. But the crew over at the Out of the Fridge podcast, I really, really enjoy their show.
That's really cool.
And it was one of the first shows that after hearing it, I was like, I can make a podcast.
I can do this.
I can do something similar. Yeah, like I don't have to just sit here and wish that I could. or
Yeah.
like, oh, like I would have to learn all of this and do all that stuff. It's just like these guys seem so much like me that like it's not some unattainable goal.
Yeah.
So it's super neat because Eric Mannix, who is one of the hosts of Out of the Fridge, also supports us on Patreon.
He's a great guy. He's really
Yeah,
cool.
he's super sweet. So it's neat to see that interaction and stuff like that. But then there's other podcasts that I've kind of had less interaction with. And it's still just like I really like this one host. Like they do a really fucking good job. Like how do I model myself after that to be like that? You know?
Yeah.
There's stuff like that. I think art wise, I look to a lot of street art rather than like MC Escher that you just went to their show. You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of more of a philosophy behind stuff and why you create things rather than what is actually created. Because there's some garbage
That's what
out
I
there.
meant. That's what I meant when I was like, I'm more inspired by these ideas.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, not by a
exactly.
particular like artist or style. It's more like the idea that drives it. So it could be found in music or visual art. You know.
Yeah, because I've met a couple like interesting artists and people that they like their ideas and stuff are fascinating, but their work is garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, well, good on you, dude, but not really a huge fan. But your ideas, you have something there.
Yeah.
It's just not for me, you know.
Yeah.
But I think there's one artist that I really really like. I haven't looked into his stuff recently if he's still making stuff, but there was this graffiti artist named Smash 137. And I absolutely loved his stuff growing up.
What did he do? Like, what kind
He,
of stuff?
he was very innovative in the way he like in what he used as his canvas and the intersection between graffiti and gallery art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because right, like one of the things about graffiti is kind of the idea of it. It cannot exist in a gallery space unless it is actually vandalism,
Yeah.
right? And there's some debate to be had on that for sure. But he would do things where he would build a frame for a canvas and put on a screen on instead of like actual canvas. Sometimes he would put canvas down, but he often used a screen, like a really really thin graded screen. And he would hang that on whatever wall he was about to bomb, and he would write his thing and spray paint it normally like that. But then he'd take this screen canvas off of the wall, and enough of the spray paint had gone through the screen so that the paint was still on the wall. But then you could take it off, and the grain on the screen was like small enough that enough paint got on the screen that you could still see what was on it. And he, like, when you hang that up in a gallery, you have the like white, like it like kind of like making something like 80% transparent in Photoshop, but you put a white background behind it, and it kind of makes it that much more vibrant, right?
So he squared the circle. He's having his cake and eating it too.
Exactly. And then he can do these gallery shows and be like, this is from the piece that I did in Berlin when I was there for 2 weeks,
That's so smart.
And I was just like, fuck.
He squared the circle.
Yeah. And he would do stuff like that. He would do things, because a lot of graffiti artists early on learned that if you took the cap out of the spray can and you replaced it with a spray cap from a lot of like cleaning
Yeah,
products.
spray bottles.
Yeah, it was a fatter, wider spray, which is where they get the term fat caps. Now those cleaning companies have kind of wisened up, and since then there have been actual companies that now make fat caps and stuff like that. But it was this idea that they were kind of changing the way you could use the can. But besides that innovation, there wasn't really much, like there wasn't much more innovation past that, except for like quality of the paint, right? But he would do things where he would like puncture the actual can and it would spray and explode, and he would use that in his work, like those explosions and stuff.
Yeah.
To get some kind of like cloud effect or some kind of like explosive effect where it's sprayed and it looks almost like a blood splatter and stuff like that. And like he just had a way of continually pushing the envelope. Like how can I do something I really love and respect, but make it just that much more different from everyone else? Which I don't see
I don't see it as much as different. I see it more as deeper.
Well, sure, sure. That's
just like
one
depth
way.
of challenging your notions, of what graffiti is, what art is, what it means to be in a gallery,
And I think when it comes to stuff like, okay, how can I then turn that around and learn from that? I think it's really cool it's cool, it's good, it's whatever the hell you want to call it, to challenge yourself in a way where you're like, look, this is a really popular thing, whether it be a style of podcast or a style of art or the way you dress or the way you talk or who knows what. But then if you can take that and change it just ever so slightly so it's your own, like figuring out how to do that is such a challenge sometimes, and I think that's what he was really good at, and that's what I admire the most about him.
Yeah,
like
that's really inspirational.
Yeah, it was just like whoa, like he not only wanted to do the same thing that everyone else is doing, but he wanted to push it farther. He wanted to change it that much, like even if it's just as small as like, I'm gonna take a rock and puncture this spray can.
Yeah, and that's why I've moved on past like genre for me. And I know how highfalutin this sounds, but for me it's more like
yes, indubitably.
Yeah. For me it's more like, okay, I'm interested in people that are pushing the envelope, no matter what genre. I just wanted to see them do something new, exciting.
Yeah, which is not to get back to 6 Feet Under, but the art teacher in that show, as annoying as he is, like, he's right half the time.
He's not wrong. He's just a dick about it.
Yeah, he's a complete asshole. But there's the thing where I think one character like gets upset and storms out, and he has this fit, and like after he leaves, he's like, "You could have at least slammed the door." Like you guys don't commit to any of this stuff, and it's like he just as much of an asshole and pretentious just douchebag as he is.
California artist he is.
Yeah, he has the right idea where he's just like, if people can just commit that much more and go that much farther, you can make something great.
Yeah. I really loved that idea of his friend in the show, the bald guy. He wiped his ass on the American flag, and he had all these like right-wing Republicans burn it. And he was like, I've never felt more like a true artist. I was like, it was a really funny scene. But yeah, like even things like that, you can't really put a genre on it. It's more like, creating something new.
Yeah. And now we are those pretentious art people talking about art fucks and whatever the fuck.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, man, like once you smoke weed and you start getting like really pretentious. So I'm trying not to be pretentious, but I can't help it.
You'll get there one day. Paul. You'll
I
learn.
never thought I'd be this guy who was like, like, what's my process? But now I am, and I'm like, fuck you, I hate you.
It's
So,
something. It's something you have to think about to
yeah,
make some good art, to make some good quality content.
yeah.
So that's kind of all I had. I actually don't know how long we've been recording because I kept my recording going.
55 minutes.
55 minutes. That is perfect.
Christ.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry guys, it's like 11:58 for me right now. So like and I'm high, so that explains why I'm like. That's why I sound
Extra
tired and
pretentious. Art,
Yeah.
art fuck Paul.
high. My girlfriend, my girl Sarah, she's been building. Do you know like Metal Earth?
You mentioned she was making some kind of model, but if that's a brand, I have never heard of them or.
It's like a
anything
brand
that.
of like metal sculptures. They make race cars and stuff like that. But
Okay.
my family got me some Metal Earth Star Wars models. So right now she's
Sweet.
making Darth Vader's TIE Fighter or whatever it's
Oh,
called.
cool.
And so like she's like, usually she's mad at me and she's bored, but now she's just like, you get mad at me sometimes. Yeah. All right. She's
like,
actually
no.
very understanding. But like, yeah, she just like she hasn't said a word in like 3 hours because she's just working on this stuff.
Because we're sitting here being pretentious art fucks and talking about inspiration and process and what true art is.
Exactly. I didn't bring up the question, you did, but okay.
Oh, fine. Blame it on me, Paul. I see
Yeah.
how it is.
I'm
But
high.
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah.
I
I'm glad you
think-
asked that question. It's a good question.
Yeah,
And we
had-
ask it to all of you, whoever's listening.
Who are you
you know.
inspired by?
Yeah.
What do you guys look to for inspiration?
Yeah. Are you guys artists?
style.
What's your process?
Yeah, do it.
Sorry if this episode is a little toned down. I'm just like,
Some
I'm
interesting
tired.
discussion. That's what the
Yeah.
captain's log is for.
Yeah.
If you did
just
not
whatever you
know.
want.
That is what we do each week here on the captain's log. Paul and I can just sit back, relax, talk about all sorts of shenanigans, whatever it may be.
Are you trying to sound like Captain Kirk?
No. Did
You
I sound
totally
like
sounded.
Captain
Yeah.
Kirk?
You're like, kick back. Relax.
Kick back, relax,
Take your clothes off.
take your clothes off.
Green alien lady. I think I gotta go, man. I'm just like.
Sounds
Like,
good.
yeah.
If you have not already, go follow us on Twitch and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Support us on Patreon. Give us your firstborn child.
We're another thing you have to do.
Whatever you have to do.
You have to
we,
do.
as obvious as it sounds, as annoying as it is, it actually really does help. We
really
are
does.
trying
Yeah.
to reach 50 followers on Twitch. So if you
Please.
guys could follow us on there, that would be great. We could hopefully get a subscribe button and start getting a little bit more support from you guys, our fans, our community. And again, if you do not want to wait and you have a buck that you want to throw our way, you can do so at patreon.com/the Whatnauts. And if you cannot participate in these live streams, that is A-OK. They will be up on YouTube and podcast services in any galaxy. So go check it out. And with that, my name is Kyle Springer,
And I'm Paul Kang.
and we are the Whatnauts.
You're goddamn right we are.
Adios, guys.
Bye. Oh, really fast. I'm in a
Oh.
bad mood because
Oh.
The Last Jedi sucked.
Okay, that's old news, Paul. Thank you.
No, it's I'm still living it.
Anyways, with that, we're getting out of here. Adios, guys.
Bye.